In this video, we'll take a look at a tool called text to columns. Many of you may have used a similar operation when working with Excel. For example, when working with comma-separated value text files, using the text to columns function in Excel will allow you to parse the data by selecting a delimiter that separates your values and splitting your data into their own respective columns. Well, the Alteryx text to columns parse tool performs the same operation. In fact, you can actually split text from one column into separate rows or columns in Alteryx. So let's see it in action. Firstly, we have some example data that we'll be looking to parse. The data is populated with addresses. Now, as you can see, there are different parts of the address, like the house number, street address, city, and the state and zip information. So let's separate some of this information into distinct columns. So let's drag in a text to columns tool and configure it accordingly. In the configuration window, we first need to select what column we are looking to split. Now for us, this is an easy decision as we only have one. So we'll select address. We then need to specify a delimiter that separates our text. Now in this first example, we're going to split based on one delimiter. So we are going to split wherever there is a comma. So in the delimiters box, we will simply put a comma. Seeing as we want to split this information into separate columns, we will select the Split to Columns option, and then we need to state the number of columns we would like in the output. For us, this will be 3, as we have 2 commas present in the address field, which will split our address into number and street name, city, and then state and zip information. If there are any extra characters, we have a few options to choose from. We can leave the characters in the last column, we can drop them with warning, we can drop them without warning, or we can throw an error. So if there was a third comma which appeared in one of the rows, we will just want this to appear in the third column. So we'll put leave extra in last column for this example. We then need to state what we want the prefix to be in our new column headers. So let's simply put address, which will mean that we will get a column called address 1, address 2, and address 3. When we run the workflow and observe the result, you can see that our address column has been split into 3 new columns. The data has been split wherever there was a comma. So quite a simple operation, but very useful when we want to isolate parts of a field. Now, if you look closely, some of the address 3 column is showing the state with a space, then zip info, some of which is separated by a hyphen. So let's cover an example where we use multiple delimiters to split our values into multiple columns. In this example, we're going to be splitting on a space as well as a hyphen. So let's drag another text to column tool after our first text to column tool, and this time we want to split the address 3 column. In the delimiters section, we are going to state that we want to split wherever there is a space, which is done by putting a backslash followed by an S. If we wanted to split where there was a new line, we would put backslash N. And if we wanted to split whenever there was a tab, we would put backslash T. Now straight after the backslash S, we want to put a hyphen as the second delimiter that we want to split on. We will once again split to columns, and we will also want to set this to 3 columns. We will leave the extra characters in the last column like last time, and we will output a prefix of state zip. When we run the workflow, you can see that not only are we getting a column back with state information in it, which is followed by a space, but we are also getting the zip codes in 2 separate columns, for those which were separated by a hyphen. Now notice that those records which didn't have a hyphen, the third column is populated with null values. So a short walkthrough as to how the text to columns can be used. It's very useful when you're wanting to split a single column of information into multiple columns, which can be split on specific delimiters. Play around with it in different examples to get a full understanding of its capabilities.